How many times does it happen that when you wake up in the morning, you feel that the day ahead is going to be different, that it will become a memory etched in your brain forever, and that it will have a lasting impression? Rarely, right? But if you do have such a feeling, more often than not, your instinct is right, and the day will definitely be extraordinary. It was one such day a few years back when I woke up with a similar feeling. I walked into my office and saw that the waiting area was full of petitioners. As police officers, we are open to everyone, our doors are open to everyone, and we meet people from all walks of life. But I couldn't help but notice a small 4-year-old boy who was happily busy with a packet of biscuits. After a while, the same boy walked into the room along with his mother. As I saw the mother walking in, I felt that she looked disturbed, a bit unsure of herself, and I thought that she must be a victim of domestic violence. She sat before me and told that the doctor had asked her to visit me. I was a bit surprised because doctors usually don't refer patients to the police. But then she told me that her child had been bedwetting and not sleeping very well, and the doctor felt that he might have been sexually abused. The young mother wanted me to advise her to how to ask her child that what was going on with her. I felt so much close to that mother and to the child. The story actually touched the heartstrings of the woman in me, the mother in me. The contours, I realized that it would need special focus to talk to this child. And therefore, I leaned on the professional services of our Bharosa Center. After counseling, the child revealed that he had been sexually abused by his own grandparent. It was then that I was sure that this case will not only be a test for me, but a test for the entire victim support system that we had put in place. We need to show empathy and support to this young mother to come to the terms to a situation where her own child had been abused by her own parent, and to muster the courage to lodge a complaint against her parent so as to protect her child. The contours of this case went beyond the ordinary, beyond what is acceptable, beyond what is comprehensible. I'm sure most of you have your own unexpected stories from your lives. But the stories of police officers are usually about impossible odds that people face in difficult circumstances, just like this mother and the child. That incident put in perspective my entire career, the very reason why I joined the police service. I am not your typical image of a police officer. I wasn't very outdoorsy or athletic and was a complete introvert. I started my career in the Indian Forest Service, which was a natural choice considering that I had done my MPhil in botany. However, I felt unfulfilled, unsettled. I wanted to do something which pushed me out of my boundaries, something which was more impactful, something which affected more number of people directly. And that is how that I joined the police service. After all, don't we say, be what you won't and do what you can't. Let's fast forward to the present. Today, we have 27 Bharosa centers across the state, 15 of which have been operationalized this year itself. These Bharosha centers are hand-holding hundreds of victims in their traumatic journey. The Bharosa centers have been recommended by the Supreme Court as a replicable model for one-stop crisis centers across the country. And it is just not the Bharosa centers. The police service has given me an unmatched opportunity to make a difference in lives of many. I come from a middle class family from Delhi. My dad was a research scientist, and although rooted in tradition, my parents were forward thinking. They always encouraged me to explore what the world had to offer to the young mind of me. I believe that this unwavering support is a foundational prerequisite for women and children to thrive. At Telangana Police, it is our continuous endeavor to create such enabling environments. I am sure you are aware that Telangana has one of the highest percentage of working women in the country. Visualize lakhs of women of all ages from different stratas of society venturing out each day to earn a living with confidence and without fear. This perception of safety is not an overnight phenomenon. It has been achieved over time by introduction of various carefully curated interventions so as to create a safe and supportive ecosystem. I believe that as a woman, safe mobility is one such enabler. I still remember the shudders and jitters I felt one day decades back when I was returning home from a college study tour. The train got delayed and I landed at about 3 a.m. at the railway station. Normally, in such a circumstance, my dad or my brother would have come to pick me up, but on that particular day, due to some reason, they couldn't, and therefore I had to travel alone. I boarded an auto, and those 55 minutes which it took to reach home were nothing short of a nightmare. I was petrified and I imagined the worst. That feeling stayed with me, and recently I got an opportunity to work around that. And this is how the Travel Safe service was introduced by the Women's Safety Wing this year. T-Safe is India's first citizen-initiated, police-monitored ride monitoring service. And that is not the only thing which makes it unique. It cuts across the digital divide, as you do not need a smartphone or a pre-downloaded app to utilize this service. By the way, 35% women are only carrying smartphones, and less than that actually use all features on their smartphones. For T-Safe, all you need is dial 100, press 8, and your ride will be monitored. The ability to commute for business or pleasure to the place of your choosing, at the time of your choosing, and by the mode of your choosing is true freedom. And seeing the success of this venture, I personally feel that the long-drawn wish of younger me has been fulfilled. But then let's go back to the woman who walked in my office. Remember, I said that I thought that she was a victim of domestic violence? She wasn't. But intimate partner violence is a harsh reality. More than 50% of all crime that is reported against women are actually intimate partner violence. As head of the Women's Safety Wing, we have been able to now implement possibly India's largest police-administered, professionally run domestic violence counseling centers. Spread across 29 locations in the state, these centers have already touched lives of 10,000 victims, helping them find their voice and get justice. It is through these and many other such targeted interventions that we continue to empower women to fulfill their potential. But until now, I have talked about all that we have been trying to do to make our physical spaces safer and more inclusive. But isn't it a reality of our times today that we live more on the virtual world? We eat, play, and work on the internet, and so does the criminal. I'm sure each of us present here today in this auditorium has either been a victim or an intended victim of the cyber criminal. At the Telangana Cyber Security Bureau, we are aware of 170 different scenarios by which the fraudsters can swindle your money. We are trying our best to control cyber crimes and also to help the victims. And one such initiative which we took this year was to help victims get back their money. The refund procedure was simplified with the active support of the Honorable High Court. Last year, about 8 crores were returned to the victims. And I'm happy to share with you that this year, after introduction of this simplified procedure, we have been able to return 140 crores to the victims of cybercrime in Telangana. Today, in hindsight, I feel that young Shikha's decision to join the police service was probably the right one. It has enabled me not only be part of some path-breaking innovations, but also in facing unforeseen and challenging circumstances. From terrorism in J&K to Naxalism in erstwhile combined state of Andhra Pradesh, and of course, to policing the pandemic. No academy taught us how to handle a pandemic. We had no set protocols to fall back upon. The biggest challenge which the COVID put before us was to protect the entire community, to keep the entire community safe while enforcing law and managing order. Being on the front line, many of us got infected. In fact, I caught the COVID thrice. But every time I recovered, I was back in the field. There were days when I felt physically, emotionally, mentally completely drained. But I drew my energy from every life that we saved, from every situation that we salvaged. COVID-19 taught me that there are so many situations in our life over which we have no control. However, what we control is how we respond to them. If we have the conviction, if we have a fighting spirit, and if we believe in ourselves, then we can come out stronger than the adversities that we face. After all, what doesn't break us actually makes us stronger. Reflecting on my journey, I often think of what Martin Luther King Jr. said about living a complete life in all its dimensions, the length, the breadth, and the height. Now, length refers to loving and accepting yourself. In my case, it was about embracing my strengths and my quirks. I wasn't the strongest, the loudest, and the fastest, But I knew that the strength of my mind was my biggest asset. Breadth refers to including the neighbor and community into that love. exactly what the character of Rajesh Khanna told Amitabh Bachchan in the movie Anand. बाबू मोशाय, जिंदगी बड़ी होनी चाहिए, लंबी नहीं. And height refers to connecting to a higher power. It's about doing the right thing, the right way, for the right purpose. Because, after all, next to Yamraj is also Chitragupt, the chief data manager of all our deeds and misdeeds. So therefore, love yourself, work mindfully, and connect to a higher purpose. Because at the end of the day, living a complete life is not only about what you have achieved. It is about how much you have grown, how much you have given, and how much you have celebrated the human spirit. I am a big fan of Hindi movies, and therefore I will end with one line from my favorite song of Kishore Kumar. Don't worry, I'm not going to sing it. रुक जाना नहीं तू कहीं हार के, कांटों पे चल के मिलेंगे साए बहार के. Thank you. जय हिंद.